I was so excited about weight loss. I also have 2 children. My daughter is 8 and Timothy is 5, almost to be 6. And my husband's cool, he's great. I grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas, and my mother grew up in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And it just so happens that the boy next door and her best friend in high school was a guy named Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton, just was her best friend. And so as I was growing up in Arkansas, here's a guy who saw me with Clearasil on my face. And he played Trivial Pursuit at our dining table. And he chose to run for president. And that's just the way life works out sometimes. And that's the way my life worked out. And as Bill Clinton had announced his candidacy for presidency, the way that the media was portraying him as a person and the way that they were representing his pulpit was very different from the story I knew to be personally true, or the story that I thought should be told. And that was due to the media's intent. And so I was studying political science at the time, and I was at sort of a turning point in choosing majors. I really, coming back to that wiring of caring for people and wanting to make a difference, I thought I wanted to be in politics. I thought I wanted to really make change in that capacity, and came to the conclusion that it was really about the media, who probably had the most impact in the choices that we make and how we educate ourselves on issues that matter. And so that really charted my course for my professional path. And so I became a reporter, and I became an anchor. I wanted to be Diane Sawyer and Shane Pauley, just like half of you, and the rest of the half of you don't even know who they are. And I loved it. And I did ABC exclusive stories, and I produced a really cool documentary for VH1, and I was out in the field meeting people. Like, I had a news van, and it was like sticks of the Mississippi Delta, and the driver's side door wouldn't open, and you'd have to crawl, and you'd pull up to City Hall and have to get out the passenger side, and you got this big deck, and I loved it because I got to meet people who I didn't know. And people trusted me with their stories, and I loved meeting them. And I loved the challenge of getting to translate their stories back in what was usually no more than 90 seconds, but in a capacity that I really owned and felt a responsibility for, because those stories were how the rest of us were going to make an educated decision about what was right, or how we chose to use that information. And I loved it. I really did love it, and I was really good at it. I'm still really good at it. If anybody's hiring journalism, news, whatever, no niche. But the reality of that is that I was paid $15,000 a year, and Mama needed a new pair of shoes. And really what it came down to is that the stations that I was working for cared more about advertising dollars than they did the stories that I was telling, and that broke my heart. But what I found is that I could change that course, and so I took my talent for storytelling and my love for issues that I cared about, and I went to do PR and marketing, and that's what I've been doing for about 20 years. Coming back to that sort of core Pollyanna, what I care about, I went to do PR for the U.S. Secretary of Education in Washington, D.C., and from there I came out and started to do PR and marketing for Apple. Steve Jobs at that point we launched the iBook, and it revolutionized education and how people think about learning in K-12 market, and it was wonderful. And then I became the head of marketing and communications at Loussac Packard Children's Hospital at Stanford. Another issue, again, that I care deeply about, and a challenge that I just loved, and I loved that team, and we rocked it. And we led all of the marketing and communications and crisis communications, and delivered information so that referring physicians and partners and parents could make really hard decisions about the most important things in their lives. And I was succeeded by a CMO. But I made a very conscious decision that I wanted to get back into tech. And I made a very deliberate choice that I could do my job, I could keep doing that job, but I wanted to learn something new. And I wanted to challenge myself, and we're in Silicon Valley, and that's what we do. We do technology. And so I really made a very conscious effort to look around the community and see what I wanted to do, and I landed at VMware because I loved the people I was going to be working with. And that, at this point in my life, was the most important. It was working with people who I care about, and people who care about me. I'm going to get emotional. And getting to do good work. You'll see that I'm getting emotional. So, okay, you'll get to clap for me in a minute. So, like many of you, I was nursing my new babies and on my BlackBerry and figuring out my advertising strategies, you know, when I was at the Children's Hospital, and, you know, we juggle all these bills and pay our mortgages, and so I'm going to fast forward this summer. I've got 2 kids in camp, and I'm driving to pick one of them up, and my doctor calls, and he wants me to have a surgical biopsy on my right breast. And I found out Monday I have cancer, and it sucks. It really sucks. But I wouldn't change anything. And what I wouldn't change is that I came here and I did everything I did because I loved doing it for the reasons that I cared about. And I loved getting to know all these people through the process of marketing and communications and issues that I care about, and reporting. Basically, my life is a reporter. And you know, the point being is that we really do it all. You know, I will keep planning my next, you know, work, and I'll have my job interviews, and I'm still going to get the kids from soccer, and we figure it all out. But I'm also shopping for the most amazing bionic breast that contains red wine with a dispenser that I can find, because that's my remit, and that's what I'm going to do. And it's not going to change how I lead, and how I lead is by loving people, and by choosing people to work with who are going to love me back, and who are going to celebrate me, and that's my leadership story.